Well, hello to everybody out there in this great big world. This is your brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from the city of Atlanta, and I'm speaking truth, speaking that truth, regardless. For some, this video will give you some confirmation. To others, maybe some insight, but to both sides, hopefully some understanding and encouragement. Well, here in the state of Georgia, there is a runoff for the senator's seat, and it's between two brothers, not literally, but two black men. The Democratic incumbent, who is Raphael Warnock, and he's also the pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church. On the other side, you have Herschel Walker, who's a football player, sport, athlete, and he is on the Republican side to the degree of mega. And so, in order for these guys to have a runoff, it means that in the original election, the results were under 50% and too close to call. And so my question, or your question of confusion may be, how, number one, does this brother, Herschel Walker, Republican, black man, gain that much support from white evangelical Republicans? And especially if you have heard this gentleman speak. Well, let me tell you, he said some magic words, and my white people love to hear those of you who will speak these magic words. So in a commercial advertisement, Herschel Walker stated that Democrats want to divide, gave some examples of a few black Democrats speaking about racism. And then he said these words: Raphael Warnock believes this is a bad country full of racist people. But I, Herschel Walker, believe we a great country filled with generous people. He said those magic words. This isn't a racist country. This is a great country. You aren't racist. In fact, you're generous. My people love it when they hear those magic words. I had been living in the inner city of Chicago for close to 25 years at this time when I went home and I went somewhere, and an individual that I knew came over with a newspaper in his hands and a smile on his face. And when he came over, he opened it up and laid it down in front of me, and he had one of the sections highlighted. And he said, "Read this." And even within that article, he had a sentence that was highlighted. Well, it was an article about a black man who moved into the southern Minnesota area to be a doctor, so it was introducing him. But the words that were highlighted were his words when he said he really don't believe in racism. That racism is just a lack of work or a lazy attitude. And that's all this man needed to prove to me that after 25 years of living in an inner city black community and seeing the things that I have seen were wrong. And he had an article from a doctor that was black to prove it to me. My people love those magic words, especially when those magic words come from a black brother or sister. So it doesn't matter what Herschel Walker does, just like it will never matter what President Trump does. God's grace will always be for them, even in a conversation. They responded by saying, well, Herschel Walker maybe made some mistakes. He paid for some abortions, but God forgave him and he changed his ways. It's funny how God's grace is there for him and for them, and yet not for the rest of us. But I don't want you to think that I am a Democrat. I recognize that both wings of the government are on the same bird. But I call out my Republican, Christian, conservative, moralistic people. Because if the Democrats don't have God, we shouldn't expect them to do anything else but evil things. But see, you claim to be of God, and yet I see more evil from you than I do from the ungodly. But to clear up to why my white evangelical family members would overlook everything they do for Herschel Walker, including his blackness, is because he spoke those magic words. And that's all they needed to hear. This is your brother Dana. I'm coming to you from the city of Atlanta. And I'm going to speak this truth regardless.